Hello everybody, this is a new CT90 build I'm going to start, and starting with this one because it has a title. It was built in, can't read it. I'll have to look at the title, but don't remember. But that's the reason this one's got picked for the next build, is this because of the title. Looks like it needs a little bit of work. Hello everybody, just another update on the CT90 project. Here's the strip frame, ready to be sandblasted and repainted. Here's the donor bike. That's going to donate most of the parts for it. And talk to you in the next update. Hello everybody, there's just another update on the 1970 CT90 being converted to a 125 Chinese clone, lifan clone. You have to do just a little bit of grinding in this area right here on both sides, and a little bit down here. You need to get a little relief to make room to weld a little tab on. If you're not going to use adapter brackets, I've tried them, I don't really care for them. If on a bike that's never going to go back to the original engine, I just soon weld up some kind of bracket. But I do want it to be able to use a factory exhaust, so I stole the CT90 exhaust off of another bike I have and use that to help get the engine lined up correctly so that it can have a factory exhaust. Even though I don't plan on using this particular exhaust on it, it should help get the engine in the right place, and I will weld some little tabs down there. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Here we have a CT90 ready to be painted. It's been sandblasted. Interior parts that are hard to get paint on without getting runs has all been treated with Rust-Oleum Rust Restore Reformer, and I will show you the products I'm going to use. They're not super expensive, but nothing's cheap anymore. This is the Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer that I used on the interior where I may not be able to get good paint coverage. And this is Rust-Oleum Rusty Metal Primer, Rust-Oleum Farm and Implement Caterpillar Yellow, and VHT Engine Enamel Clear Gloss. We make it more oil and gasoline resistant. And just to show you, here is color match between original shock and the color. The Caterpillar Yellow is a very close match to the 1970-71 yellow Honda CT70s. And I'll show it again when I'm done. Thank you. Here's the painted frame. It's not perfect, but don't look bad for outside and light breeze with the spray can. And I have to keep reminding myself that I'm not building a showpiece, I'm building a rider. Okay, here we are. We're starting assembly. Make sure you clean all your mounting holes with a tap to get the paint and any residue or anything that's inside, otherwise you're going to have a lot of trouble. And when you convert to the lifan, with the welded tabs, you're going to have a bolt. Make sure you put the head on the left side because it gets close to where the chain's going to run. And if you put a tank from a different bike or a replacement tank of some type on, there is a bit of a clearance issue right here on sometimes. So you make sure you can take just a little off the tank, but don't want to take very much. You're going to have to take it off the frame in order to not end up with a leaky tank. And the simplest is to use pit bike foot pegs. That way you lower them a couple inches from the original position, which makes it more comfortable. And most of your originals are all bent. Other than that, everything is just being assembled. Just like putting a jigsaw puzzle back together. I don't have plating equipment and costs too much to send it out for a rider, so I simply use some chrome paint on the bolt hardware, clean it up, and put a little paint on it, keep it from rusting. Seems to work pretty good if they're not outside, being stored. If they're just, normal riders but are kept inside, it works pretty good. Okay, on this bike, since it is a rider and it will be ridden by an adult rider, I'm putting on aftermarket forks, but I'm also installing the factory boots. And as you can see, there's a slight difference in them, but the length is pretty much the same. And hopefully they will give a much better ride. As you can see, it's coming along. I'm working on the wiring right now. It's pretty basic setup for a lifan. But one thing I do like to do is I like to move the wire that's underneath the rear fender on top, because otherwise you end up having trouble down the line with broken wires from mud and tires rubbing. And this way you do not have that trouble. So if you put good wires in, it stays good. And I will update you later. Okay, when you're doing your front wheel, if you've replaced your forks with aftermarket forks on your CT90 or similar bike, the little knob that sticks out for the hold the brake from turning is just a little bit small. If you see, and you can get a little bit of a rattle or a clicking noise when you're riding. What I do is I just stick a small little plastic shim in there, and that seems to hold it. That's just a little tip. First startup, it's alive. Okay guys, here it is, the end result. Put about 120 miles on it and changed the oil twice, get all the manufacturing debris out of the engine. Now she should be ready to go. Doesn't seem to burn any oil. The engine I got doesn't have the strongest stator in it, but it does the job with the LED bulbs in the headlight and the tail light. Get a little flicker in the headlight when it's at idle, but it goes away as it gets revved up, but it's still fairly bright at night. Overall, very pleased with it. Rides good. Used the original rear shocks. They're a little bit squeaky, but they ride pretty decent, so I'm going to leave it, and we'll let the next owner decide what he wants to do with that. Overall, I like it better than my 86 CT110.